How a laboratory obtains and schedules an accreditation assessment. Laboratory seeking accreditation contacts and eventually contracts with one of the accrediting bodies, or AB. The AB establishes assessment dates with the lab after an extensive application process. AB informs the ASP manager of on-site assessment dates and reaches out to our current volunteer auditors, which are now called technical experts, or TE, in the areas of hazardous and radioactive material management, and RAD, or HRMM, and at least 2 observers to check on availability. AB will reach out and collect pre-audit checklists and information from the laboratory being audited for pre-assessment review by the assessment team to include TEs. These include HRMM, RAD, and HAS QARD checklists as applicable. ASP Manager will then make sure that the submitted information is posted in the lab folder under the DOCAP SharePoint Site Information folder for that tab. Only the lab, the AB, and the team, observers, and TEs will have access to this folder. AB will set up a brief conference call with TEs and observers for introductions and logistics, etc. prior to the audit. ASP Manager will send out an email inquiry to all contract holders, asking for any concerns or requested focus for the laboratory seeking accreditation. This helps the team focus on flagged areas of concern while they are there. All will attend the intensely detailed assessment on-site. Assessment Opening Day. TEs will focus on their areas via the checklist and the prior year's findings. Observers will observe the assessors and evaluate their capabilities, process, communications. Observers should complete observer checklist and then submit these directly to ASP Manager for post-assessment. TEs will then provide findings and observations directly to lead assessor by the way of the new findings form, which is available in the Auditor's Toolbox folder on the DOCAP SharePoint. Lead assessor will compile the report documents and forms to be left at the outbrief with the lab for their comment and CAP development. The laboratory usually has anywhere from 10 to 60 days to respond to each findings with a CAP. These reports, minus the CAPs, will be provided to the ASP Manager, who will then notify all contract holders and forward these reports to all DOE complex interested parties. These reports will be archived on the DOCAP SharePoint for auditor access only. ASP Manager will post these on the DOCAP SharePoint for access by all auditors, only under the Auditor Information folder. If anyone else requests a copy, they'll need to contact the ASP Manager directly for a copy. If a contract holder has an issue with a finding that impacts their sites, contract, etc., then the contract holder is encouraged to reach out directly to the lab towards obtaining satisfaction and resolution to meet their specific requirements. This includes requests for CAPs. If anyone needs further clarification on the findings or wishes to coordinate with the AB, they should contact the ASP Manager, who will then facilitate the discussion and any additional communications between parties outside of the contracted lab. All TE checklists are to be provided to the AB and uploaded to the lab folder on the DOCAP SharePoint. All observer forms are to be emailed directly to the ASP Manager for review and action if necessary. Once the AB has approved their accreditation scope, they'll notify ASP Manager and post this on their website. ASP Manager will then post on SharePoint the accredited listings as they are updated and provided by ABs. Prior year findings in HRMM and RAD will be researched by the TEs. If findings are closed, they are to indicate that it was closed and no longer an issue or deficiency. If it is still an open finding, the TE is to report it as a new finding, using the new finding form, and check the prior DOCAP finding block on the form. This will inform the AB that the finding is a recurring one. All other findings, QA, inorganics, metals, etc., will be reviewed by the AB and handled through the QA process to ensure that it was addressed in their CAP program. If it is still a finding, they will process accordingly.